Honorable guests and my friends. It is a privilege and an honor for me to represent the Tathagata Meditation Center to give a eulogy about Usnalanda. We have known Sayadaw and become his student for almost 20 years, and a great person with many exceptional qualities. And in the contact with him, you may already learn that. But please, give me permission to bring it up here to honor him. Sayadaw is very inspirational. Without him, there is no such a thing as Tathagata Meditation Center today. Sayadaw is very energetic, and I have many opportunity to be close to him. And one time he said to me, and several times he said in front of the yogi, that he would like to work to the end of his life. And he really did. And your wisdom and your loving kindness are two wings to lift us high, high, high up, so that we can live our life to the utmost. Especially we, the Vietnamese, came from up after a terrible war. We tried to find a way to live the remaining time of our life significantly. And you give us that light in that way. We will do our best to deserve your love and trust. We will continue your mission at TMC. We will follow your footsteps in spreading the teachings of the Buddha, especially the four foundations of mindfulness meditation practice at TMC, to the last moment of our life. One time, you say you would like to work to the end of your life and no retirement. Sayadaw, we will do the same. No retirement, Sayadaw, no retirement.
When I first met Sayadaw Sridananda in 1994, the first thing I thought was how wonderful. A Theravada monk that can speak fluent English and who is accompanied by a Latin American monk. How perfect for me. It was then that he began to introduce us to the incredible world of Abhidhamma, and that's how I started my relationship with Sayadaw. In 1998, I learned through him about the Theravada University in Yangon. I thought to myself, if Sayadaw is the rector, it must be something good. And so I decided to attend the diploma course in Yangon that year. In Mexico, we were aware that Sayadaw advised about everything because of all the cultural difficulties I was going through at that time. He was always very kind to me, and his first words were always "Kanti, Kanti," patience, patience. Everybody at the University in Yangon knew me as Sayadaw's Mexican disciple. At the closing ceremony, when he handed me my diploma, he looked into my eyes as if he were saying, "You see, here is the result of your patience." I looked back at him, and we both smiled. Through him, I also learned about the meaning of Dhammadutta and missionary work. There is no better example than what he did during his whole life. Last year, when he attended the 5th anniversary of the Dhamma Vihara, the monastery in Mexico, he was so happy to see other elder monks as guests and devotees, and how the monastery had grown during those few years. We had started from scratch because none of us had a clue about how to run a monastery. Of course, all of it has been made possible because he had the vision to give us his right arm, which is what he used to call Venerable Unandisena, who has himself been a pillar in Mexico and Spanish-speaking countries. And Sayadaw was also very generous to give us the support of the TPSA, because without your help, we couldn't have started. I had the opportunity to travel with Sayadaw on his first visit to India. It was quite an experience to recite the Iti-Piso together in the holy places and to travel in a rickshaw in Varanasi, going to the Motilal bookstore looking for ancient books. I could keep going on and on with wonderful stories about Sayadaw, but I just want to finish by sharing with you some of the last moments I spent with him. In May, when I came to visit him after his surgery, I had the blessing of being able to help him with
and Dharma friends. I have decided to talk about how wonderfully Venerable U Siddhananda represented the ideal virtues of a monk. Those virtues are enumerated in the beginning of the Metta Sutta, and Sayadaw himself once commented on them. Using those two things as references, I will comment very briefly on how he lived up to those virtues. It is my hope that all of us will thank him by striving to emulate his fine example as best we can. First, the sutta says, "He who is skilled in good and who desires to attain the state of calm, nibbana, should act thus." Sayadaw commented, "One who is skilled in good knows how to do things." Sayadaw knew how to do so many things. So he was a linguist and master of many languages, thankfully English, a writer of many books, a teacher of many students, a computer devotee, a Dhamma pioneer bringing the Buddha's message to many lands. But mostly he was skilled in kusala, speaking and acting in a wholesome way. The sutta says, "A monk should be able," Sayadaw commented, "a monk should be able to strive for liberation from the round of rebirths. He should be able and ready to put forth effort to practice meditation." Sayadaw always centered his activities around the practice of meditation, even when it would have been much easier to do other things. And he always encouraged his students to focus on meditation, on the practice. The sutta says, "A monk should be upright, perfectly upright." Sayadaw commented, "A monk should be straight, perfectly straight, very straight." That means he should be honest, not just ordinarily honest, but perfectly honest. Sayadaw's life is a testament to the fulfillment of this virtue. The sutta says, "A monk should be gentle." Sayadaw commented, "A monk should be gentle in deeds, gentle in words, and gentle in mind." Although Sayadaw had a formidable array of talents, his gentle manner allowed students of great diversity to readily approach and learn from him. Metta always crowned his sharp sword of wisdom. The sutta says, "A monk should be contented." Sayadaw commented, "Monks must be contented. Contentment here means satisfaction with what one already has. Lay people provide monks with the 4 requisites. It is like harassment to ask lay people for many things. Contentment is a good quality for both monks and lay people. When you have contentment, you have happiness. The Buddha said, contentment is the best of wealth, the best of riches." Sayadaw was a missionary monk, so he often encountered lay people who did not know how to provide for him properly. Complaints just never happened. Instructions and corrections were given occasionally, and we learned to do better while Sayadaw's Kanti Parami reached the celestial realms. The sutta says, "A monk should not commit any wrong such that the wise might censure him." Sayadaw commented, "A monk must carefully and heedfully act in such a way that no wise person will criticize him." Sayadaw assiduously pursued this goal throughout his life. May we also pursue this lofty goal.
Most venerable Sangha and Dharma friends, I'm Tsunai, venerable Dharma teacher, guide, and friend. Venerable Sayadaw Sivalanda's teaching and life. In addition, I would like to express my deep appreciation to the resident Sayadaws, board members, and yogis in Brahmananda Monastery and Tathagata Meditation Center. Without your selfless devotion, there will be no possibility for me to listen to Sayadaw's teaching and get so much nourishment from the Dharma. Venerable Sayadaw Vijayananda lived him to help in learning the Dharma. He was so available. He offered himself so freely to whoever needed him. That kind of thing was so easy to take for granted, to overlook. Sometimes I miss it. I didn't even realize I was receiving a teaching. He was a living example of how to repay the Buddha for his teaching. Sayadaws always practiced clear comprehension, sampajanya. It is the key to practice mindfulness, continually practice mindfulness. Sayadaw emphasized this point. Be relaxed, continue practice. Do not expect to attain even concentration. It is subtle form of breath, keeping practicing one object at a time. For example, I have the good fortune to receive his instruction on Visuddhimagga and a commentary of Samanana Phala. He showed me how to explore the meaning of the Dharma from commentary and to read carefully both on the practice and on the meaning of the words. In addition, when he brought up different explanations from different resources, he called them and kept them as they were without personal bias. The way he presents his teaching, in some sense, is another way of practicing mindfulness. It demonstrates to me each moment his practice of mindfulness quite naturally. After every teaching, he always recited the final sentence that he taught me, and he returned mindfully to his study room. The first time I was not very sure, but one day his way of keeping mindful hit on my head. Sayadaw was practicing mindfulness from one activity to another activity. So no wonder he was so productive at the age of 70, and so energetic and relaxed. Yes, he practiced what he taught, and he taught us his practice. The memorial service we did today for Sayadaw was Vijayananda. The teacher's teaching continued without end. Obviously, without teaching continued.
The sun that rose from the east, that shined forth over the world, has set into the west. When I was in the Sydney, Australia, on 13th this month, I heard this bad news from the Goten town. So I'm trying to go back to Myanmar, my country, to apply the visa, to get air ticket, and right back in my home on 17th morning in Yangon. I filled out the application form for my visa. On 18th morning, I applied the visa. In the evening, I have visa to the United States. Only one day.